Our marriage was the kind that looked steady from the outside, quiet, dependable, built on habits and mutual trust. Daniel and I had been a couple for 8 years, married for 4, and together we ran a small independent bookstore in a seaside town along the Atlantic. I'm Laura, and I took care of author events, readings, and community outreach, while Daniel handled orders, shipments, and stock. Our lives were stitched tightly into the shelves, the registers, the long days spent side by side. But somewhere along the way, the rhythm of our life began to feel like a loop I couldn't escape. The days blurred together, and an unease settled into my chest that I couldn't quite name. Then Ryan came back. Ryan was an old friend from college, someone who knew me before marriage, before responsibilities, before routines. When he moved back into town, his familiar smile and effortless humor woke something in me that had been dormant for years. At first, it was harmless, text messages, quick check-ins, shared memories. Then it turned into lunches, long conversations, laughter that lingered a little too long. I convinced myself it was nothing. I wanted to believe that. Until it wasn't. It happened on a gray, rain-soaked afternoon. Daniel was supposed to be driving an hour inland for a supplier meeting, and I told myself I was just inviting Ryan over to catch up. That lie barely survived the first few minutes. The tension in the room felt electric, charged with everything we hadn't said. Before I could stop it, we crossed a line I can never erase, ending up in the bedroom Daniel and I shared. The guilt was immediate and crushing, but I pushed it down, letting myself disappear into the moment. We never heard the front door open. We never heard footsteps. Not until Daniel was standing in the doorway. His expression wasn't what I expected. There was no yelling, no explosion of anger, just a stillness, like something inside him had broken clean in half. Ryan went rigid beside me. I yanked the sheets up, my mouth opening but no words coming out. "Laura," Daniel said evenly. His voice so controlled it sent a chill through me. "Ryan, get out of my house." That was it. No threats. No insults. Just a sentence that felt absolute. Ryan scrambled for his clothes, mumbling, "I'm sorry, man," before rushing past Daniel and out the door. I waited for Daniel to turn toward me, to demand explanations, to unleash everything he must have been holding in. He didn't. Instead, he walked to the nightstand, picked up our wedding photo, and studied it in silence. Then he turned it face down and said quietly, "I already knew." My heart stopped. "Knew what?" I whispered. He finally looked at me. His eyes were empty in a way I had never seen before. "You changed. You pulled away. Last week, I followed you. I saw you with him on the boardwalk near the pier." He had known, and I had been too wrapped up in myself to notice. I tried to speak, to apologize, but he raised his hand. "Don't," he said. "Not yet." He moved into the living room, sat on the couch, and unlocked his phone. I followed, shaking, as he opened a folder filled with screenshots. Messages I thought I'd erased, photos of Ryan and me sitting too close at a cafe, even notes with dates and times from the day he followed us. He hadn't been spying out of paranoia. He had been trying to protect himself. "I hoped I was wrong," he said, his voice cracking for the first time. "But here we are." I couldn't speak. The quiet evidence pinned me in place. Daniel didn't storm out. He didn't raise his voice. He just sat there, staring at the wall, while I cried silently across from him. "Why?" he asked eventually. I tried to explain the loneliness, the way I'd felt invisible, the rush of feeling noticed again, but even as I spoke, I knew how weak it sounded. He listened without interrupting, then nodded once. "You chose him in our bed," he said. "Our bed." That sentence hurt more than any scream ever could. He didn't call friends. He didn't turn our pain into drama. He let the truth sit between us, sharp and unavoidable. I slept in the guest room that night, unable to face the bedroom. The next morning, Daniel went to the bookstore like nothing had changed, leaving me alone in a house that no longer felt like mine. I called Ryan, told him it was over, and blocked his number. He didn't protest. When Daniel came home, I tried to talk. He asked for space. "I need time to think," he said, and the quiet damage in his eyes terrified me. I started staying at my sister's place, giving him the house while I sat with the weight of what I'd done. People noticed something was wrong, but Daniel never shared our story. He kept our pain private, and somehow that made it heavier. We started counseling weeks later. He agreed reluctantly, for the sake of the bookstore, the dream we built together. In therapy, he spoke carefully, describing trust like a machine that might be permanently broken. I admitted how I'd let Ryan's attention fill an emptiness I never addressed. The therapist forced us to confront the distance that existed long before Ryan, the way work had replaced connection. Seeing my role in our unraveling was brutal. The bookstore still keeps us linked by a fragile thread. Customers browse our thoughtfully arranged shelves, unaware of the cracks behind our polite smiles. Daniel is civil but distant. I'm trying to rebuild trust piece by piece. That wedding photo still haunts me, the image of it turned face down. Not because of what Daniel did, but because of what he didn't do. He didn't rage. He didn't destroy me. He simply showed me the truth. And that was enough to break everything. We're still together, but only in form. What we had is gone. I'm learning to live with the consequences, to face the woman who betrayed her husband in their own bed. Daniel's reaction, his quiet, devastating clarity, still echoes in my mind. Love doesn't always end loudly. Sometimes it shatters in silence. I don't know if we'll survive this. But I'm fighting for it, hoping one day he'll see more than my worst mistake. Some betrayals don't need words to ruin you, they speak for themselves.